Summer series of Inside Brant. Welcome in once again to our half hour for 2011. We always start off this time of year by thanking our great volunteers. Hope they're enjoying some rest time as we kick it off with the gentleman who doesn't seem to get any downtime. You know, the house stops, he continues. We welcome him to kick things off on this program. Our Brant MPP, Dave Levac, with us. Glad you found 5 minutes.
I am always glad to be here, and it's always entertainment, my friend.
Yeah, I go by Charlotte Street, and there's always those drapes are rustling there because that little boardroom, that hums. Like, when is downtime for Dave Levac?
I have to leave the country.
Because I guess the problems of the province get replaced by the problems of Brant.
Well, sure, and it's a combination of both all the time. So
Right.
Some people come in to talk to me about provincial issues, but mostly about constituent issues, and we get to work at it.
I guess that's what we wanted to dive into right away. See,
Except for one thing.
Which is?
Got a present for you.
Oh,
I
okay.
brought you the Thunder Sticks
You
from the
did?
opening of the Gretzky Center. So you have to blow them up and make a lot of noise, but that's for you, my friend.
Do you think I have the hot air?
You've got, oh, I've got plenty to spare. The setup, you got to take it, bada boom.
Well, thank you for that. And
Yeah,
that's
not bad.
terrific. The recent legislature, things that got done, what would be front and center in your mind?
Well, in terms of legislature itself, a continuation of places to grow, the Green Energy Act, passing of the budget to make sure that not only do we have the money that's necessary to run the government and provide the services for Ontarians, but also to court a direction that we needed to take to get us over the economic downturn, because it took a while for us to get that infrastructure spending done and those kinds of things tailing off and then rejigging so that we can move forward. A lot of pieces of legislation that continue to work good. Adoption legislation itself, there's individual pieces that were really important to do, but for all intents and purposes, getting the economy back on track, and I think that was the biggest focus that we did.
I'm glad you started with that, because I don't want to suck you into an impromptu section of Talk Local,
Yeah.
but are you proud of what the province was able to accomplish? Because I want to say on the outside that the government provincially didn't always get the best of what the feds had to offer, it seemed.
Well, in a partnership, some people take the lead. What we did was, in the municipal, federal, and provincial partnerships that we took, we formed for the first time in history, we formed a provincial federal commission that dealt with that, and we funneled it through Canada Build. Which was Canada, Ontario builds, Canada, British Columbia builds, Canada, Alberta builds. So we may not have gotten the glory, but the reality is we were more focused on making sure that the economy was stimulated and we created those jobs. Ontario, well, let's go backwards a little bit. To make sure people understand what's happened in the generic sense, it's very difficult to separate my personal finances and my personal needs from that of the province or the country. But to have sympathy for the people that are going through the tough time. The economic turnaround, Canada fared number one coming out of that recession. Ontario was the best performer in the entire country. So between Canada and Ontario, we fared best of all that economic downturn. China lost jobs. That's what we're talking about. So in essence of how we set the table, our economy is chugging along. We're starting to do that recovery. We got jobs back. So the decisions we had to make, and some of them were tough decisions, but we set the table for a better engine to move forward for the future. So in essence, the Parliament did its job, Canada did its job, and now it's time for us to kind of get the wheels spinning and moving forward. So that's what I'm excited about.
I don't want to call it trickle down, because I know in a lot of cases you're the advocate for this
Sure.
this area, but what are you proudest of maybe in that economic area that came to this area?
Well, I gave you that little gift of the Thunder Sticks because that's another example of that's economic stimulus. That was the stimulus spending. The Gretzky Center will become a signature piece of construction in our community to help with rebuilding the infrastructure. So that's a key one. BCI soon to be reopened in 100th anniversary. That's another key component. The province of Ontario ponied up $24 million to help that rebuild on that site. So the Twin Pad Arena in the county, and so the list is on there. We know what that is. There was about $300 million of spending in the riding between the province, and then on the federal side, about $250 million of spending to help us stimulate the economy. And now both governments have said, now we've got to stop the spending and move towards a more practical way to approach what's happening. So I would probably say collectively, and I think we have to get out of the mindset of what did I do? we have to get into the mindset of what did we do. So the accomplishments are all there for people to read. We'll go through those list by list. But
well, we'll have you back at a future date. We're getting the last few seconds here. We're going to talk about cooperation in the future. But the one question I want to hit you with before we're gone here, does it ever stop being exciting for you?
No, I get pumped up. I get energized. And I said that at my nomination meeting that I'm energized. I'm ready to go. I want my job back. So I love serving the people, and I think that's what people have to understand. This is about service.
I'm glad nobody has to vote for me to stay here.
You got my vote.
I wonder about it. And we'll get you back here in the future, and we'll spend some more time here in the summer. But Dave, thanks for today.
My pleasure.
We're going to do it again just a little bit when we return. Sandy Lee is going to be here. Lung Association busy. Summer right through into the fall. We'll get all the details from Sandy next when we return on this half hour of Inside Brant.